guys, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, my name is Ruby and welcome. First of all, I want to take the time to thank each and every one of you who are still here on my channel, because I'm fully aware that I have not posted anything in almost 2 months, and this video is going to explain why that is, because these last 2 months were honestly such a huge nightmare for me. It felt like it was never going to end, and it was just hard for me to function and to do anything, let alone film a freaking YouTube video, even though I would have loved to. But I really had a hard time, and so in this video I'm going to talk about this specific nightmare that I experience with anxiety. Because I can tell you guys now that I have experienced anxiety in the past like any other normal person, even though urban legend is that there are people out there who don't experience anxiety, and to them I say lucky you, because honestly it sucks. But this level of anxiety that I experienced was very scary. It's nothing I ever experienced in my life, although I do know people who experience similar things with that level of anxiety, and it's the most scary thing. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about that experience that explains why I kind of just, even with languages, I kind of just took a step back from everything for a month, and I think spit just flew out, sorry about that. But I kind of just had to take that step back, because even if I would have wanted to, I really had a hard time being able to get myself to do much of anything, because I was in a constant state of fear. The thing is, a little over 2 months ago, something came up that just triggered me very badly. You can say that it was related to a particular trauma that I had that I personally thought was something I had already overcome, but from the looks of it, it wasn't at all overcome, because it just hit me very hard. And I can tell you that I was just terrified waking up each day and just being in this constant state of anxiety. Sometimes I would wake up in the middle of the night just scared, and there were quite a few times that I had panic attacks, which was very scary, because if you've ever had a panic attack, then you know that it feels like all hell is breaking loose and it feels like you're going to die. Or sometimes it felt like I was losing myself, like I was losing my sanity, because the level of the anxiety was just so insane. It's something I never experienced in my life. And the reason why I want to share this, because honestly it's pretty hard to share, because it's like something that personally makes me vulnerable. And I know that there are people from my university who are subscribed to my channel, and although I'm not sure whether or not they watch my videos, like on Instagram I did post pictures at times on my story where I was literally crying and breaking down, because the truth is I kind of just want people to know that they're not alone. Because a lot of the time when you go on social media or even on YouTube, you look at people and you think they live like a very happy, glamorous life, or that life is perfect. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of people just post like the good snippets of their life, and it's so easy to fall into that idea of like, oh, like everyone's life is perfect except for mine. And that's not at all the case. Like, it's really rare, and I think it takes a lot of courage to actually be vulnerable and just share the truth of what you're going through. Because for me, I even had a hard time eating. I went down in weight from not eating enough because I was just under a lot of stress. And of course I didn't become underweight or anything, but I did lose quite a bit of weight from just the anxiety and not eating enough. And the thing is that I've also been doing therapy for a few months now, and I felt like I was actually on the right path, where I felt like, all right, maybe I can actually take a break from this. But then I got triggered, and it just like brought up all these scary emotions, and it's something that I've been addressing in therapy. And along with that, I decided during that time that I would start taking medication. And so I started taking like a antidepressant slash anxiety medication to see if that would help. But I felt like it wasn't helping. I just felt more panicked and just super on edge all the time. And literally, I just felt afraid. Like, I had this level of fear. It was just sitting right here on my chest, and I was always panicked. And sometimes I would just cry because of how afraid I was feeling. And yeah, I mean, I just want to share this because, like I said, you might be someone who's going through this right now, and I want you to know that you're not alone, because sometimes it feels like you are alone, and sometimes it feels like you're crazy or like you're going insane, and you're not, and it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And I remember feeling that way, and sometimes wishing I wouldn't wake up because I really didn't want to deal with it. It was so scary and so overwhelming to deal with. And to the person who's going through this, I just want you to know that it sucks, but all you can do is do your best to support yourself through that, because even though this summer was quite a nightmare, it was such hell. Like, if hell exists, that was it. But the good thing I think about the whole experience is like what I learned from the experience, because I feel like sometimes life will throw these challenges at you as a way to help you grow and evolve into this higher version of yourself that like really internalizes these life lessons, like a lot of the time there are things that we're like logically aware of, like, oh, like true happiness comes from within, right? Like, that's such a cliche, and logically we all know this, but you never really know it until you truly internalize it, right? Until you truly like take it all in through your entire being and really feel the truth in things such as happiness comes from within, because that is something that I did learn through the experience, how happiness is an inner job. And I also learned through the experience how, like, when you're going through things, you can have all the support from people around you, which, by the way, I did have support from my loved ones, and I'm so grateful because I really couldn't have done it without them. But I also realized that on top of having their support, it was also essential for me to have my own support, because the truth of the matter is that I learned that I really have to be my own best friend, because if I don't have my own back, then who will? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, of course, again, I appreciate the support I've gotten from my loved ones, but at the end of the day, they can't help heal the anxiety or the pain or whatever it is I'm experiencing. They can't take that away from me as much as they would love to, because no loved one ever wants to see like their loved one struggling or suffering. But like, the only one who can actually do all of that is me. It's only you. Like, only you can do the inner work, right? So I learned that I really had to be my own best friend, and it's something that I'm doing my best to practice every day, just nurturing myself and figuring out ways on how I can really be there for myself, really be my own best friend, essentially. And I just remember a lot of the time crying, and I would hug myself, like literally hug myself and be like, it's okay. Like, if you have to cry, cry, it's fine. I got you. I'm here for me. I'm here for us. Like, like essentially I'm one person, but that's how I talk to myself. Like, I'm here for me. I got my own back. I love myself. I matter. I'll get through this, and just doing my best to, be encouraging. Like, just in the same way that I would be encouraging towards a loved one who's struggling, it's essentially the same way I was behaving towards myself, right? And it's something that I still practice, and that's something I am grateful for, because we all talk about self-love, how it's important, but how many of us actually like practice self-love, you know what I mean? And so this experience definitely forced me to start practicing self-love and really being there for myself. And it also inspired me to start doing more things that are like self-care related, like working out, because at some point I was very active, but it was kind of for the wrong reasons of just wanting to look a certain way or control my body. And I started working out again, just doing it like 2 or 4 times a week, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes each time, as a way to just like deal with stress and anxiety and just help myself feel more empowered, which I feel has been helping. And just doing things that essentially make me happy. I've been going on a lot of long walks in nature, just talking with my loved ones, because talking with them about what I've been experiencing, how I've been feeling, has been so helpful, and talking with my therapist. And as I mentioned, I did take a medication for like a month, a little over a month. But something in me, like intuitive feeling, and also just based on what I was experiencing, I kind of figured that it wasn't really serving me or helping me overcome what I was feeling. So I stopped taking it, but I did start taking a small dosage of an anxiety medication that up to now I feel has been helping. But at the same time, I also feel like a lot of like the anxiety I was experiencing has been passing, which makes me feel extremely happy and grateful, because This is like, if you're someone who has been going through anxiety, it feels like, oh my God, is this ever going to pass? Am I always going to be this way? This is your sign that it's not always going to be that way. It may take a while, but you'll get through it. And I feel like with the trauma that triggered it, I feel like I've finally starting to make my peace with it and just overcoming it. And part of that was really just allowing myself to feel what I feel. And sometimes I still feel like a bit of anxiety trying to come up, and I'm aware of it, but I do my best to like acknowledge it, accept it, and just like let it go and go on with my day, just doing the things that I love. And that's something else I want to mention, how sometimes like when you go through such things, it's okay to take a break. As you can see, I took a break with YouTube. I didn't take like a complete break with like music stuff or language stuff, but I definitely wasn't like super active like I recently have been this last week that I've been like doing everything. But I definitely gave myself permission to rest and just like be like sort of sloth like, just being very slow and present and really taking in the beauty that's around me. And that's another thing, is that I feel that this experience has taught me to really just be present, being more present in my life and taking in the beauty that's all around me, because a lot of the time we're just rushing through life and we kind of forget to just smell the roses, right? And again, that's like another cliche that we all logically know, but how many of us actually internalize? And I feel like that's something that did help me like internalize that particular truth, as well as like there was something else that kind of slipped my mind. But the other thing is also just, no pressure of having to rush and to arrive to a particular destination, because I certainly felt that with school, because I'm supposed to be graduating spring of next year, but I decided to take time off because during the summer I was going to take a class that would have like been the class that would have like pretty much helped make that possible, right? Because I don't want to be doing like 17 units these last 2 semesters, but because that didn't happen, I'm extending my time by one more semester. And at first I was very upset, and part of me sometimes still feels like, oh, like again, but it's something that I needed to do for myself, because I don't like, what's the point of arriving to a destination if you like, if you lose yourself, if you're like in pain, suffering, or struggling with like all these health issues, like it's not worth it, right? The other thing is also that like this experience has also taught me to be more grateful. Like, yeah, we're all grateful, we all appreciate things, or at least most of us do, but sometimes like we don't really appreciate what we have until like we quote unquote lose it. So for me, going through that, I kind of felt like, oh shit, I lost myself, I lost my health. And it's just made me more grateful and appreciative for my health, for my peace of mind, my peace of heart, being in a better place, appreciating my surroundings, having a roof over my head, having food, having people who genuinely love me, having my body that's healthy and functioning. And also, it helped me realize that kind, genuine, loving people do exist, because in my life, I've had the unfortunate experience of a lot of people who like, have hurt me, but have been sort of like, shady and stuff like that. And it's kind of like made me into someone who really builds up a lot of walls, and it's like really hard for me to trust people and believe that they'll always be there, because after my experiences, I've always had this like fear and just like belief that people eventually leave. But through this experience, I've had kind, genuine people who aren't my blood relatives that have been around me, who have been checking in on me, who genuinely have cared, who I have sometimes reached out to crying because I've been so afraid and panicked, and they've been so patient with me, and they've like, checked in on me and always sending me good thoughts and prayers and good vibes. And this experience taught me that kind, genuine people are out there, even if like your past experience has been filled with people leaving you or hurting you or fill in the blank. I can tell you from my personal experience now that, they may be hard to come by, or maybe that's just my personal belief, but the truth of the matter is that they're out there, and I'm just so blessed and fortunate to have these type of people in my life. And I would also encourage you to be open-minded, because just because they're out there doesn't mean that they're all necessarily in your age group. A lot of these people are much more older than I am, but they have like the kindest souls, the kindest hearts, and I'm just so grateful and fortunate to have them in my life. They're like my allies, like my closest friends, like family, loved ones, like they're everything to me, and I'm just so lucky to have them. And yeah, these are some of the lessons of what I learned through this experience. And of course, it's still a process. Like even not just talking about it, I kind of feel like some of like a little bit, tiny bit of like fear, just like, you know, thinking about that trigger or just remembering that time because it was a dark place. But talking about it, I know it helps. And if this video could help someone who's currently going through something similar, like I really hope it does, because I remember I also watched the video of someone like a fitness influencer who experienced similar anxiety to what I have experienced, and just like seeing that she was able to get through it kind of like gave me hope that I'd get through it too. So I hope if you're someone who's struggling, like you also retain that hope that it'll get better. And just, you know, you have to hang in there and just keep on doing your best to support yourself through this time in any way that you can, so long as it doesn't hurt you or anyone else. It's important that you open your heart to those you trust and reach out for help, reach out for the right resources that can help serve you through these challenging times. And yeah, so you guys, I hope this video was super helpful for you. It was a very hard time. I'm just so grateful to be in a better place. And of course, I'm taking it one day at a time and doing my best to be there for myself and be my own best friend, as we all should. And yeah, I think that's the only, like, one of the best things about these struggles is that at least something good does come out of it. Like, every negative experience it's actually like a gift in disguise, right? Of course, at the moment we don't see it. And like I said, it was scary. There are a lot of times I would cry myself to sleep and I would wake up panicked, just not wanting to be here because I didn't want to experience that. It's such a scary thing. I don't wish that on anyone around me, not even the people who, for whatever reason, may not like me or have beef or whatever, or wish me whatever. Like, I don't wish that on anyone, not even the worst human being on this planet. It's not fun, and it's painful, but I'm grateful that at least I learned, like I internalized important lessons that I do my best to practice every day in my life now. So you guys, I really hope this video helps. Let me know in the comments if you've been going through something similar and what you're doing to help yourself get through this tough time. I know it may be challenging, but I assure you, you will get through this. I believe in you, and don't be afraid to reach out, because honestly, the encouragement of those around me is what helped me like believe and hold on to that little bit of hope that I had left. So hang in there. I'm praying for you and sending you guys like the best vibes, all the light and love of this world, and we'll keep on getting through this. All right, thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next one. Maybe we'll do some vlogging, because I do start school on Monday. So I don't know, maybe a day in the life of a music major, and just like keep on sharing the language stuff. I'll have a language update for you guys real soon. But yeah, talk to you guys soon.